Hello, we are here with Charles. Here talking about HyperDot. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and the game?
Yeah. So my name's Charles McGregor, and I am the sole developer at Tribe Games, and I made HyperDot, which is an action arcade game where you dodge everything. So you play as a dot, and you just have to avoid all of the different shapes that come in an arena. And then there's tons of ways that the game will change up. You can have modifiers, which change the way the game plays, which you can be twice as big, twice as fast, or like change the arena itself. So it can be a dark arena where you can't see everything around you, or an ice arena where you can't stop moving. But yeah, there's tons of different like modes and things in the game.
What inspired this game?
I actually started this game out as a research topic in a school or in school for a class that had nothing to do with video games, of course.
Okay.
And they said that we were the research topic was anti-piracy techniques in video games. Again, I wanted to shoehorn video games into school, but I started there, and they said no PowerPoints, and I was like, okay, I'll make a game instead. I made the original prototype, which was just dodge things, and there were 4 people, so I wanted to get in volunteers and whatnot. But I just had it so you just dodged things on 2 levels. But I showed it off at a local playtest event, and then people encouraged me to play or encouraged me to keep working on it, and I enjoyed working on it and playing it. Where then it totally went away from what it was originally, of that like original prototype of just dodging things to having all the modifiers in a single player campaign and level editor and stuff.
So when you started working on this, you weren't, I guess, a game designer. You were just a college student?
Actually, no. I've been a game designer for I don't know the exact date, but I was when I was like 11 or
Oh,
something like that.
wow.
Since I've been making games and stuff. I have been like professionally making games now for I guess it would be 4 years, 4.5, 5 years. I was actually able to be a VR and AR lab assistant up in college. So I was
Oh,
able to
wow.
do, yeah, I was working with like the Oculus Rift before it was out and stuff like that, which was pretty cool.
Yeah. You've kind of been working with games in one form or another for quite a while. But is this your first like full game?
This is my like first really big release. Like the game is actually out on like Xbox and on Steam and things. So I've never done that before. Other than I have collaborated with a couple of people in the past with games like Clawbreaker, which you can get out on Steam. But this was my first game that I made on my own that I put out on like at this big of a scale.
What has been one of the biggest challenges working on HyperDot?
The name. No, because it used to be called anti-piracy, and then I have whiteboards, like 4 whiteboards full of names that we tried to come up with for HyperDot.
Okay, can I ask real quick before you go? How
Yes.
how did you like use this as for anti-piracy? Like, what did this game have
Oh,
to do?
I was reaching. I really wanted to make a game. All right, so the dots were the game, and then the other shapes were the pirates, and then there was a normal mode where you had piracy protection. You did something to prevent pirates from coming in. So there was not as many shapes that show up. But then there was a hard mode where you didn't have any piracy protection. So everybody was like, "Oh, free game!" So then they all show up right away. I was I really wanted to make a game at that point. But fun fact about that is that the 2 levels that I made in the original prototype are actually still in the game.
Oh, wow.
So it is inside of the free play mode. It is classic and swarmed. So classic is the normal mode, and then swarmed is the hard mode.
Can I ask how you did on that project?
No, I did pretty well. I did. I forget the exact grade because it was actually a group project. I was handling like the presentation side, and then somebody else was doing the paper
Ah,
side of it. So I was like, oh yes, I'll just do the thing that I like doing.
I'll just make a game to explain this topic.
Of course.
But you were telling me about the challenge of making
Oh
this game.
yes. So aside from the name, really the challenge was, or my biggest challenge was trying to have it so that the like adding in all of the levels that are in single player. So there are over 100 levels in the single player campaign, and I originally, when I was originally making this, I was like, oh, I'll finish this in the summer. In like, I guess at that time it would have been 6 months max. It took me 4 years. So it was definitely a challenge to try and make it so that like I have interesting enough level design and levels and mechanics to go into the game and then like explore all the different ways that I can change things up. And I know that I haven't actually fully explored everything because fortunately the game's now out and you can go purchase it or buy it or get it on Xbox Game Pass, which is also another cool thing. But so yeah, I've seen like people make levels in the level editor where I'm like, whoa, that's a awesome idea. Where people will be like, okay, we're gonna do like a slow mo level where there's only slow power ups, but then everything's moving at super hyper speed. So if you don't get a slow mo power, then it's just like insane to get through things. And like seeing all that kind of stuff, really like, oh, I want to try and make levels like that and explore some more.
Do you plan on updating the game? I mean, in today's games, it's like a wins a game done whenever the developer decides to stop making it.
Yeah, actually, so there have been a couple of updates that have gone out since the launch. The last biggest one was Gauntlet mode, and that is where you play through the entire single player campaign, but with a limited set of lives. So you can play with, you have 100 lives or 50 lives, 10 lives, or of course, 1 life. And that is, I have not done and completed the 1 life challenge. I've only gotten up to level 32 was the highest that I've gotten for the 1 life challenge. It's stressful.
What, I guess, what makes your game really exciting for someone to want to try? What, like, you're trying to sell HyperDot, and like honestly, you showed them the trailer. That's just like probably going to do it. But you're stuck in an elevator with somebody. You're like, hey, I made HyperDot. What do you tell them?
Yeah. I think the biggest hook for HyperDot, especially if you're into like action arcade games, is the modifiers and being able to have it so that you are able to have like dark mode where again you can't see everything around you, or you have super dot where time moves only when you move. Wink, wink.
No copyright infringement. Just
no copyright infringement. We actually, my publicist actually tweeted that out and was like, "Hey, super hot. Hope you don't mind." And we're like, "Oh no, this looks awesome, great." And we're like, "Oh, senpai noticed us." So this there's just tons of different like modifiers, which change up the game so much and add such a interesting like twist on things. And then like on top of that, being able to play in like multiplayer in a party mode or do a level editor and make your own levels and mess around with all this stuff. That kind of stuff is pretty cool.
Yeah. Man, the coming from the anti-piracy thing, it's like,
yeah, I know.
Where do I go from there?
Where do you go from there? Yeah, I understand.
What do you want people to know about HyperDot?
Sure. So I guess I should probably tell you like where you can actually get it.
Yeah.
So it's available on Steam and itch with PC, Mac, and Linux. And it's also available on Xbox and Windows 10 as a Play Anywhere. So if you get it on one, you get it on the other. And it's on Xbox Game Pass. So if you have a subscription to Xbox Game Pass, you can just download it right now and start playing and play through the entire thing.
Is there some place people can follow you or the game and see what's coming down the line, what you're working on?
Sure, yeah. So you can follow my company at Tribe Games on Twitter, or just me personally at DarkHazeTG on Twitter. And if you want to check out any of the links linking off to, like, there's the soundtrack available as well on like Spotify and other streaming services. If you want to go check out that stuff, that is on hyperdotgame.com. We tried to get HyperDot Game, but that costs like $10,000. So.
People need to buy enough copies of HyperDot so that they can get that.
So we can get that domain.
Gotta have a goal. Well, thank you for talking with me today, and everybody go check out HyperDot.
Yeah, thanks.